Hello everyone, Melody here, mom of 4 in our blended family of 6. Welcome to Homeschool Happy Hour. Today is another collaboration video hosted by Making Everyday Magic, and we want to talk about that big word that all the homeschoolers hear, and that is socialization. Is it really a scary thing? I don't know. Let's see what we have to say. Before we go any further, be sure you take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel so that you can follow along all things secular homeschooling, curriculum, homeschool life, all of that. I love connecting with all of you, so if you are new here, drop a comment in one of those boxes and give me a shout. If you have not had the chance yet, make sure you go do the same for the other amazing homeschool mamas that are part of this collaboration. I think it's really important that we address the issue of socialization because it's such a big topic when it comes to the homeschool debate. So we're talking about socialization scaries today, and Shanna has given me 10 questions to address with y'all, and they're good ones. So let's check those out. Question number 1, have you always homeschooled? Yes, I have always homeschooled my kids. They have participated in public school activities like sports or art class, or they have gone part-time just to get the feel for it, to see if that's something they liked. But we have homeschooled from the beginning. We have been considered a homeschooling family, and our goal is to continue doing so. What are your fears surrounding socialization and your decision to homeschool? Now for me, this has changed over time. In the beginning, a lot of my fears or concerns or trepidations or whatever word you want to use, they were really related to input from outside sources, from other people, and me taking those opinions a little too much to heart. As a public school student myself, I didn't really have a lot of fears on my own because I remembered how much I absolutely hated public school and how it was not a positive social experience for me. And I worked in the public schools before I started homeschooling, so I saw a lot of the really negative aspects of the socialization that was happening in the schools. So I didn't have much concern for that from my own thoughts in the beginning. But I did let other people's thoughts impact me and impact my concerns there. I was a little bit worried about how other people would treat my kids. I was a little worried about whether or not they would be accepted in the social environments when we did go into them. If I jump right into question number 3, the question is, how in your experience have those fears been true? And question number 4 is, how have those fears been false? Let me address both. I have had some people that have treated my children differently because they were homeschooled. I can't think of a single experience in which that was not an adult. I've had adults treat my children differently because they were homeschooled. I've had adults make comments to me about what they thought my children would be like. One of my favorites was a person who'd said, well, they assumed my kids would be super weird since they're homeschooled, and they're pretty surprised they're not so bad. I was like, I don't know how that was supposed to be a compliment. That was really rude. I have not, however, had the experience of my children being treated differently by their peers because they're homeschooled. No, I've always made a concerted effort to get them involved in the world outside of our home, and we live in an incredibly small town, so it's not hard for everyone to kind of know who's who, whether you go to public school or homeschool. And I've never had them mistreated or treated in a way that I feel would be inappropriate because of them being homeschooled. In fact, sometimes because they're homeschooled, they get more positive attention from their same age peers, which I didn't expect. Question number 5 is, how has being a secular homeschooler affected their socialization? And I do feel like that has had an impact. So we don't join pretty much any of the homeschool co-ops in our area because they're all religiously based. I have tried to participate in those in the past. They've always proven to not be a great fit for us. Some of my kids' very closest friends are homeschoolers that are religious homeschoolers. Surprisingly, those people are more respectful of the fact that we are an agnostic family than some of my kids' peers that are in public school that have overtly and consistently said and are outright attempting to convert our kids and make sure that they find Jesus. They're very worried about their soul. Being secular has limited probably my social group more than their social group. We haven't gone to as many homeschool co-ops, but we still participate in a lot of extracurricular and community events, so I don't know that we're being shorted in any way. What are your observations about the socialization debate? This I have an opinion on. If you've been watching my channel for very long, if you've caught any of my shorts, you know that I feel very strongly that the socialization debate around homeschooling is bunk. It's ridiculous. It's not necessary. Yes, socialization is important for all people. No, public school does not provide our children with the socialization that we think it does. No, my child is not a puppy that needs to be socialized in order to learn how to interact with the world. Yes, my children do interact with the world around them on a regular basis. I honestly don't really see what the debate is all about. Most of the homeschoolers that I know are incredibly capable when it comes to social skills. Many of the public school people that I know, adult and children, suffer greatly when it comes to social skills. There's a huge lack there. So really, I think we should be asking ourselves, how are we going to help our public school kids learn how to socialize in an appropriate way? That should be the question we're asking. Question number 7, what do you do to make sure your kids get social time? All right, I'll address some of this more later in one of the later questions, but to make sure my kids get social time, we participate in extracurricular activities. We recently have moved into town as opposed to out of town, and so the kids are always outside playing with neighborhood friends. We do not lack social opportunities. The question is really, what do I do to make sure my kids do things other than socialize? Because that's not the only thing to do in the world. Question number 8 is, what tips do you have to help calm the fears of fellow homeschoolers about a lack of socialization? I'm hoping some of my answers to the other questions have answered this one. The social opportunities within the public school, if you're missing that, you're not missing out. You're actually doing your child a favor. It's a real problem. I say that as a former student, as a former full-time staff member, as a current substitute teacher, as a former school board member, as the parent of some kids that go to public school. I've had my fair share of experiences in that department, so I am not just pulling that out of nowhere. I am telling you, the social opportunities given in the public school are not what you think they are. You are not missing out. If you are providing your children with opportunities to participate in activities of any kind, whether it's a chess club or a sport or an art class, or maybe there's an online baking class or something, then you are providing them with social opportunities. If they are interacting with other people when you're going to the grocery store, if you are teaching them directly how to act appropriately with other people, you are teaching them social skills, and they will have everything they need. This is not something that should stress you out. If it is, ask yourself why. Why is this stressing me out? Is it me or is it an outside source? And is it something that I can let go? Are there extreme circumstances where there are homeschooled students that do not receive social opportunities? Yes, there probably are. There are also extreme circumstances where public school students are not given appropriate social opportunities. It's not about your educational choice, it's about parenting. So if you are parenting with the intent to provide your children with what they need academically, emotionally, socially, you're gold. Stop worrying about it. Take a deep breath and just relax. It'll be fine. Is there anything about your journey related to socializing that you would change? Yes. I would not be so worried about it in the beginning. My oldest homeschooler, I would take her to any social opportunity from a very young age. We'd go to like mommy and me play dates, swim lessons before she was even school age, toddler, as an infant, all of these things. I would take her to these different social opportunities. As a very, very young child, she would sit on my lap. She would sit on my lap and she would just stay there. And I would have other people come up to me. On more than one occasion, I did actually have this happen, where someone would come up to me and say, you can let her play. It's okay. You can let her get down, or you should let her play, or you should let her do this. And I would try. I would take her over there to interact with the other kids. I would encourage her. I would set up play dates where kids would come over, and she wasn't interested. And it wasn't like a concerning thing like she couldn't socialize or she didn't make eye contact or she didn't interact. It was more like she liked to watch the world around her. If there was one or two people, if we did a play date, she would interact with them. If it was a larger group, she'd kind of rather watch. She might get a little overwhelmed. And so in the beginning, I kept trying to solve that. I kept trying to make sure, okay, you have to have a group of friends. You have to do this. And it took me way too long to realize and recognize she's just introverted. Like, she's a natural introvert. She really gains a lot for herself from having a calm, quiet environment and from having just a few friends, or like one friend, when she's with somebody that she connects with, they really connect and she knows how to interact with other people. She behaves appropriately and she has really good friends now that she connects with in really fantastic ways. She knows how to express herself. She knows how to maintain those friendships. She's not into big group activities and she's not into the go, go, go that is often expected of kids. And that's okay. I wish that I had accepted that a lot sooner and not been so worried about that, or try and personalize it like it's my fault, like I did something wrong. There's nothing wrong with being an introvert, and I feel like we need to understand our children and respect where they're at. Alternatively, my youngest child is total extrovert. So knowing, hey, she needs me to take her to these activities and she wants to do those things and those help fulfill her, and accepting, respecting, and accommodating for both of them for who they are as individuals when it comes to socialization, I would definitely change how I approach that. Question number 10 is, what is the craziest comment you've ever received about socialization or socializing? I don't know if I can nail down just one. As a content creator, I'm putting my life out there, which means I'm subject to other people's opinions, whether I want them or not. I accept that. Sometimes I am shocked by how incredibly aggressive and aggressively negative people will be in their commentary about my children, whom they've never met and know nothing about. I think just this morning I received a comment on another video saying that my child was going to be, I can't remember word for word, but it was something about how they were going to be socially stunted for the rest of their life and their life was going to be a living hell because of what I've done to them. And I kind of just laugh those off now. Every once in a while I'll get a comment about how they'll never make any friends, usually while I'm looking out the window watching them play with their friends. Really, the thing I've come back to on those is my kids have better social skills than the people that are writing these comments, because who thinks it's okay to make nasty derogatory comments about somebody's children that you've never met, or even if you have met them, like, is that ever okay? I don't think so. Just the meanness that's out there, I find shocking. Of course, I've received some comments that are just so absurd, like I can't even respond to them because they're clearly being made by somebody that has no experience with homeschooling. Maybe they're just trolling, I don't know. But that's all I got for you. 10 questions from Making Everyday Magic. Make sure you check out the playlist. Hopefully going through these questions has given you some insight on the socialization question and how that relates to homeschooling. Thank you for sticking around with this video. Thank you for checking out those other videos, and I will catch you next time.